So I had a bit of entrepreneurial experience coming into this course. I had my own small business that I had started running, and it was private swimming lessons as I was a lifeguard beforehand. And I kind of realized that I was getting paid almost minimum wage to teach these classes of 7 to 8 kids. And I'm like, the parents must be paying a lot and I'm not really getting compensated fairly. So I started doing my own private swimming lessons, and it ended up going very successfully last summer. I made almost as much from that as I did from my internship, but I didn't really know how to scale up the business as I was only one person and I didn't really think it could go any bigger than what I was already doing. But now I've considered, after doing our scale up session, I've considered maybe hiring other lifeguards and then having them in different areas of the city that I live in, Kitchener-Waterloo, to do lessons, and then I would take a percentage of whatever cut they got for getting the client. And so that really changed my mindset where I'm like, okay, now that I have this small business that's successful, how can I scale it up? And it really got me thinking about it. And I think that's how my mindset changed the biggest from the beginning of the course. So for my key learnings of this course, I think there were 3 that really stood out to me. First was analogs and antilogs. Second was a learning that I found through Campus Closet about delegating roles. And thirdly was how important feedback is. So I'll speak to analogs and antilogs first. I think the example that he gave with the iPod was something that really stuck with me. Is like, now that we've seen the Walkman and we've seen the iPod, we know that people will listen to music in public, but that was a real question before any of these technologies existed. And you had to think, will people really listen to music in kind of an antisocial way when they're in public? And I think the fact that Apple could look back on the Walkman and the analog and was like, wow, that really worked. People will listen to this. People will use the iPod, is something that really stuck with me. And then the opposite of obviously looking at analogs too, and the negatives that, people have failed before. Take those failures and put them into your own business and put them into your own idea and implement a solution. Secondly, I wanted to talk about kind of how unorganized we were at the beginning when we were delegating roles, because we talked about this in our presentation, but all the people responded to DMs, and then we really set the roles eventually where I'm the delivery guy and I pick up and drop off the clothes. And so I think when looking at a startup or any new business, having those set out roles is very important. Finally, how important feedback is. So we got a lot of feedback, and some of it was really beneficial. Like, some people asked for like a little bit better packaging, or, we got positive feedback too about how high quality the clothes were and how, affordable they were. And I think that when you're starting a business or really doing anything, looking for feedback, and not feedback from your friends, right? Not from people from random people, getting that feedback, that true and honest feedback is essential to a new venture and is really just an important part of life. And those 3 things will really stick with me. So for the conclusion of my favorite parts of classes, I'm going to merge the 2 into one vid. But so to start, I think actually creating a venture in new venture creation was by far the best aspect of the class. I think that we learned so much from actually taking it into our own hands, and we showed ourselves that we actually could be entrepreneurs. Making almost $2,000 in revenue was really exciting for us. I think that it really showed that we all have the potential to be entrepreneurs, even if we don't feel that way. Second, I think the guest speakers were also a highlight of the course. When Loud Luxury, we took the video of Loud Luxury speaking on the Zoom call, that was really cool to hear how Body kind of changed from what it initially was, and it sounded good initially, but they changed it into making that absolute hit of a song. And then also having real people who came in and have actually created their business and showed the problems and the successes that they had with their own was a really valuable learning experience. Finally, the problem identification on campus class was definitely a highlight for me. I liked going to campus and kind of asking people what problems they had, kind of checking out where some pain points might be. And that actually helped us kind of come up with the idea for Campus Closet, because Reese had noticed that even at the bookstore, the prices were crazy high, not sustainable, and she really identified that problem. So in conclusion, I learned a ton from this class. I really want to expand my private swimming lessons now after learning how to scale up. Analogs and antilogs are great learning. Learning how to delegate roles and have it clearly outlined in a new venture is incredibly important. I just want to say thank you, Eric. This class was awesome. It was a great learning experience. Always loved showing up, and I really liked the class. And it was a valuable learning experience, and I am an entrepreneur.